Hello, family. My name is Tariro, and today I want to tell you about the five camera theory, which is something that we came up when I went on tour in 2013. This was my first international tour, and I went with the artists Priyaso and Rutendo Machiriza, who are good friends of mine. So we had about 22 shows in 3 weeks, and so you can imagine we had carried outfits for every show. I remember me and Rutindo laughing about the luggage that we had because we're hoping to dress up and doll up for every show and you don't want to repeat outfits. But the band that we toured with, which is Jamaran, pretty laid back, they'd get up in their shorts and slippers and they were quite happy and still deliver a stellar performance. So the routine was quite hectic. You get to a city, you unpack, you go to the hotel, you leave your bags, you come back for sound check, and you perform. And this was like quite routine. But one particular city, I think about the fifth show, we were tired. We were tired of this whole dressing up, and it was becoming a bit tedious. So we went to the hotel as usual, left our bags, and only carried our instruments. And then we got to the venue. Just before the show, Merkson, who's the drummer, comes up to us and says, so today we're filming the show for the documentary and we've got 5 cameras, which means we've got 5 different angles. So this would be a good day to dress up and to doll up. And we had left our bags at the hotel and it was a bit too far for us to go back and change. And we thought, we'll just get up with our jeans and whatever it is that we had that day. But as I reflect on that story, I think, God is really saying, you were asked to look your best, and that day you were your simplest. Come as you are. That is your best. Don't try to add and do things and to prove yourself because I see you. Which brings me to Hebrews 12 and Hebrews 12 verse 1. It says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, right? I know these witnesses are the saints that walked with Christ and that walked with God and experienced His faithfulness and His goodness, throughout their lives, watching us from heaven. But you're also surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses here on earth. And I think of family, your children, your parents, your spouse, and for musicians like us, your fans. People are watching you constantly, whether you like it or not. And so the way you behave and the way you do things, does it exemplify Jesus Christ? Are you representing Christ in your life? I remember there's a time I went to the bank the other day and I was wearing a t-shirt, a t-shirt that says Jesus is Lord. So I get into the bank and this teller is really driving my patience and I was getting so pissed off. But something kept telling me to keep quiet. And then he says, first he apologized and I was like, you know what, it's okay, I'll wait. But I was getting so agitated. And just before I said something which was going to tarnish my image completely, he looks at me and says, surely you're a praying woman, because anyone else would not have tolerated what I did and would not have been so patient. So thank you so much. It shows me that Jesus is definitely Lord because I was wearing that t-shirt. And I thought to myself, wow. So people are constantly watching and looking out for those things that we claim to be. Yeah? So it says, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, verse 1, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. Look, this has been such a struggle for me because you're living in the public and you've got stuff that you're dealing with personally that needs, private pruning. But those are the things that God wants to use for His glory. I mean, I've had stuff where God will say, remember that time where you nearly got into the cultic practices? Talk about that. Remember that time when you got into the wrong relationships and ended up going downhill and lost everything? Yes, talk about that. Remember that time when you had the divorce? Yeah, how it affected you and how it affected the people around you? Talk about that. Remember that time when you had the miscarriage? Talk about that. And those are things that are uncomfortable and those are things that easily entangle, and we need to let those go. And a way of letting those things go sometimes is talking about those things. And we go on, it says, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. So running with perseverance, that means the race is not easy. You have to persevere. You have to to fight, and you have to make sure that you conquer those things that are on your race so that you can win at the end of the day. Fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and the perfecter of our faith. Look, this is it. You fix your eyes on Jesus. That is the solution. And I think in this day and age, there's so many voices right now. And it's a struggle to understand and to know what the truth is. But you can only know the truth when you fix your eyes on Jesus. Because he started this, he's the pioneer, and he's going to finish this, and he's the perfecter of faith. So he's the one who's going to do it all. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and the perfecter of our faith. God bless you.